thousands of you guys have already checked out part 1 of my How to Wire a Chopper series. I wanted to give it a little time for some feedback so you guys could tell me what you wanted to see in part 2. And the response has been overwhelming for one topic in particular, electric start. You asked for it, today you're getting it. 3 different ways to wire electric start into your motorcycle. You're watching Grease's Garage and I'm going to help you skip the struggle. Before we get into the wiring, I just want to give a big thank you to longtime friend of mine and wiring guru, Davey Sprocket, for making today's video possible. As you guys know, my Evo Big Twin is my only motorcycle, and it does not have electric start. After I made that first wiring video, a lot of you guys who are riding Evo Sportsters reached out and said, how do I wire the electric start on my Sporty? So I reached out to Davey, and he was kind enough to use his Evo Sportster to film all of the B-roll for today's video. So all the up-close shots that you're going to see, those all came from Davey, so massive thank you to him for making the video possible. That being said, let's go ahead and jump in. The way today's video is going to break down is I'm going to give you 3 different options for wiring in your electric starter. The first is the simplest option, which has no additional wires. The second is a slightly more convenient option that has 1 additional wire. And the third option is what I'm calling the locally available option. This is for people who prefer to use parts from their local auto parts store so that they could replace them in a hurry. The other nice thing about this option is you could go today, buy these parts right after you're done watching the video, and go hook it up on your bike. Which option is right for you? That's going to be for you to decide. We'll talk about the pros and cons as we go through, and at the end, I'll share with you what I did back when I had an electric start, which option I thought was best for me. Let's start with the basics, because before you can wire in your starter, you need to know where it is. Your starter is located behind your rear cylinder and on top of your transmission, right at the base of your seat post. There are 2 ports on this starter that are important. One of them is the power going from your battery to the starter, and that is this cable right here. The second port is the smaller port located on the side of the starter, and that goes to your switch. Your starter is grounded to the frame via the bolts that hold it onto the motorcycle, so you do not have a separate wire for your ground. So that battery port and that switch port are all we need to worry about today. We're going to start with the battery port because all of these setups require power from the battery to the starter in order for the starter to operate. So the first thing you're going to want to do is run from the positive terminal on your battery to the battery port on your starter. Now this wire is a wire that you want to save from that factory harness. The reason being is it's a very big wire. It's a 4-gauge wire, and the reason it's so thick is because it's carrying a lot of cold cranking amps from that battery to make your starter motor turn. So if you can, save that wire from the stock harness. If you've already thrown it away, 4-gauge wire is what you want to use for making yourself a new one. Alright guys, we're ready to jump into option 1. But before I get into it, I just want to mention that links for everything we talk about today are down in the description. All of these various options we're going to go into, you can find all the links down below. So click that description box, click the links. I have no affiliation with any of the companies that we're going to talk about today. If you do see an Amazon link, that might be an Amazon affiliate link, which I stand to make tens of cents off of, but in the end, buy it wherever you want to buy it. I'm just trying to teach you how to do it today. So let's get into it. The first option is the mechanical button on the starter solenoid. The great thing about this option is outside of that power cable coming from your battery to your starter, there are no additional wires that you have to run. So how does it work? On the side of the starter, which you can see here, your solenoid cover has 3 bolts holding it on. These 3 bolts come out. You take this mechanical button right here, I'll roll in a clip right here of what it looks like, and you bolt that in place of that solenoid cover. The way this works is when you push that plunger, it makes the contact on your starter motor and your starter will spin. This is a super convenient option. You literally 3 bolts out, put the cover on, 3 bolts in, you are done. Now you can just push that button, start your motorcycle, and you're off to the races. Now, as convenient as that mechanical button on the solenoid sounds, some of you might realize that you're running a set of exhaust pipes that comes straight out in front of your starter solenoid. So in that case, it's just not going to be super convenient for you to run that as your starter because you're going to be burning your hands every time you go to start your motorcycle, which leads us into option 2, which is the momentary key switch. The way this works is just like what you have in your car. You've got an off position with the key, you've got an on position, and then you've got that hold position that cranks your starter, and when you release it, it snaps back to the on position. These are available from companies like Lowbrow Customs and Throttle Addiction. They are the same price on both places, so you can choose which one you want to buy it from. I have links down below. I bought mine from Lowbrow Customs, and these things run between 40 and 50 bucks at the time of this video. Now you might be asking, why do I have it on my motorcycle if I don't have an electric start? And the reason is these key switches are just built better. They're more durable than the $10 to $20 cheapo key switches. And even though I don't have electric start on my bike, I still need a key switch to function properly and not fall apart. So I've been running the Lowbrow one for about 3 years now, and I have never had an issue with it. So super solid key switch. But let's get into how the wiring works. The wiring is going to be completely identical to what you saw in my part 1 video of how to wire a chopper. The only difference is one additional wire. And that wire is going to go from the S terminal on your key switch out to this port right here on your starter. That is the port on the lower right-hand side of the starter. So again, you want to go from that port on your starter up to the S position on your key switch. This will make it to where when you crank that key into the momentary position, your starter motor turns and your bike fires up, just like a car. Very convenient option, and only one additional wire over the no electric start setup that I showed you a couple months ago. Before we move off of option 2, I want to make mention of one thing, and that is that people who are much more educated about electronics than myself have mentioned to me that carrying the load from the battery to the starter motor is very taxing on just a key switch in the middle, like we discussed in option 2. Now, I know people personally, and my buddy Davey knows people personally, who do just that. They run just the key switch, that momentary switch in between the starter and the battery, and they have had no issues. But if you want to be technical about it, it's a lot of load to push through a key switch, and it could, over time, burn that key switch up. So what you're going to get in option 3, the locally available option, I'll show you a setup that involves a relay. And the good news about this is if you like the idea of running a relay, like I'm going to show you in a minute, you can always go and wire that in to the momentary switch to have a safer setup. So let's get into option 3. This is your locally available option. So it involves a momentary push button switch, just a cheap $5, $10 push button from your local parts store, and a 4-pin relay from your local parts store. They make relays with more pins than that, but it's not a motorcycle. It's a chopper, baby. You only need 4 pins. We're not running crazy amounts of gizmos and gadgets on these bikes, so a 4-pin relay is all that you need. I'm going to zoom you in on a relay right here just to give you the basics of what's involved. As you can see, this relay has 4 ports on it. They are labeled 85, 86, 87, and 30. Now, before you get confused, trust me, this is all much simpler than it looks. It's only 4 ports, and I'm going to tell you where every single wire goes to and from. Let's start from the very beginning. First, find the place you want to put your relay on the motorcycle. Sit it where it's going to live, and then we know we can run the wires from that position to where they need to go. All right, guys, so I felt like the best way to show you this is with this whiteboard here. We've got all the components we've been talking about the whole time. We've got our starter motor right up here. This is that little port on the bottom right-hand side that we showed you in the beginning. Down here, you've got your battery. Over here, you've got your momentary switch. Look at this. It's even got a little push button on it. And then in the middle, we've got the unknown, right? This is the relay that I was telling you about. This is what's going to save your key switch from having to carry the full load. So if you want to do this the safer way, this is the way to do it. Let's make this easy. First wire comes from your starter motor to number 87 on your relay. Again, that's number 87 goes to your starter motor. Number 85 from your relay goes to ground. This is frame ground. If you're not familiar with electrical, this symbol right here, this like 3-line, that means ground. So you're going to take your 85 pin and you're going to ground it to your frame. Next, you're going to go from 86 on your relay right over to your key switch. Following me so far? If you get all of this, there's only one wire left to run, and it's going to do a Y. All right, that's why I'm saving it for last. There's one extra step. You're going to come from your battery terminal, your positive, and you're going to come to here. One side of it is going to go to port 30 on your relay. The other side is going to come over here to your switch. This is the full setup for wiring in a relay. Now you might say, okay, I understand what you're doing, but what is it for? What does it actually do? And what this does is, instead of having all of the juice from your battery flow through your key switch and go to your starter motor, because it's a lot, you're talking about 300 cold cranking amps in some cases. This just allows that when you push this switch, it lets battery voltage go through the relay and into your starter, instead of having your switch carry the full load. Now, I mentioned while I was telling you about option 2 that I would show you how to combine using a relay with that momentary key switch. So now that we've covered option 3, how you would do it with a push button from your local parts store, let me show you the diagram as it would look if you wanted to use the momentary switch with the relay. You can see we've still got the same from your starter motor to port 87, that hasn't changed, and from port 85 out to frame ground, that hasn't changed either. So now let's talk about what has changed. Instead of the push button switch here, we've got a key switch with a starter option. Same one we talked about in option 2. You've got 3 ports on it. B for battery, S for starter, and G for fuse block. Why is it G? I think the community deserves some answers from the electrical community, because it never made sense to me why we would call this port G. I don't know what G is supposed to stand for, but anyways, that's beyond the scope of this video. G's going out to your fuse block. That's all covered in part 1 of my video. So the way this differs is you're going to come the same way, positive terminal from your battery. It's going to Y out. One side's going to go to 30. The other side is going to come to B, which is battery power on the key switch. The other side of the key switch is going to port 86. So this is doing the same thing. You've got battery voltage coming to your key switch, but when you crank that starter on the key switch, that momentary twist, it's opening the relay so that instead of the battery voltage coming over to your key switch into your starter, it's opening these 2 ports and going straight into your starter through the relay. This is the rock solid, never going to have an issue with it, I promise you, setup to do the key switch starter situation. So take a screenshot of this, however you want to remember it. If you have any questions on this or on any of the other concepts we talked about in this video, I have a private group on Facebook called Grease's Garage that is just for builders who want to get stuff done. So feel free to join that Facebook group. You can talk to Davey, who knows way more than I do, and a bunch of other people in there who have a ton of talent, builders ready to help builders. So I told you guys at the end of the video I'd tell you what I ran back when I had an electric start. And the answer is it was actually 2 of these options. One, I ran that mechanical push button. My pipes were nowhere near my starter, so it was very easy for me to reach my hand under and push that mechanical button. But in addition to that, because I did have one of those buttons fail on me once and fail to start the bike, Davey convinced me to run the relay option with the parts store setup that you saw in option 3. So I actually had 2 different ways to function the electric starter. I could push the button on the solenoid, or I wired that manual push button under my seat so that if one failed, I always had a backup. And I will say, I never Even though I had a problem with the mechanical button, I never had a problem with the relay option. So that is a vote in favor of using the relay. That thing never gave me one issue ever. Very, very solid setup. So guys, if you need help wiring the whole rest of the bike, click on this video right here to see part 1 of my how to wire your chopper video. I'll take you through all the rest of the components. If you've already wired your bike, but you're having issues with some of the components, click on this video right here where I show you how to diagnose your big 3 electrical components. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll catch you next week.